The Lost in Transition podcast is brought to you by LB Endurance. LB Endurance, turning you into a legit badass. Learn more today at lbendurance.com.
You know when everyone's like, oh, the pro's in town, and I'm like, I'm unfit, guys, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, no, really, I am. So I suffered through this thing just like faking it full gas for 2 hours.
Welcome to the Lost in Transition podcast. I'm your host, Chris Gerard, Lana Burl, and Derek Tingle joining me here in just a few minutes. And I've been on the bike a lot lately. Michigan Titanium 140.6, now less than 3 weeks away. Did my first ever back-to-back centuries over 2 consecutive weekends. It's been a long time since I've gone more than 100 miles on the bike, and I'm enjoying getting back into that long distance. As we continue with our cycling focus here on the Lost in Transition podcast, tonight we are talking to Clay Murfet. He's a cycling coach, former pro, licensed massage therapist. He just retired from Crit Life, the Crit Life team in 2017, so he is in the middle of that transition into retirement, and he's going to be talking about bikes, bike training, massage therapy, and his experiences racing. Clay is a lot of fun, and looking forward to letting you hear the interview we had with him here in just a moment. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the TuneIn Radio app, or on YouTube. You can also stream us on Facebook or via the website, losttransition.com. Thank you for the follows on Instagram. I see notifications about new followers every day there. We are at Lost Transitions on Instagram and Twitter, and look for the Lost in Transition Triathlon podcast on Facebook. All of that should be linked up from our website as well. And without further ado, we'll listen to Clay Murfet on the other side of the break. This is the Lost in Transition podcast. Clay Murfet is a cycling coach, licensed massage therapist, and former pro cyclist with Crit Life in 2017, among other teams. He joins us tonight to talk bikes. Clay, welcome to Lost in Transition.
Thanks so much for having me. I've been looking forward to it for the last couple of weeks.
So if people can already immediately listen, hearing you, they know you're from the land down under, Tasmania specifically, where you grew up. It's a great region for cycling. Tell us a little bit about your experience growing up in that environment.
Well, yeah, specifically Tasmania, and in Australia, track cycling on the velodrome is very, very popular. Mm-hmm. And a lot of junior cyclists, that's how we start out. So the breed of cyclists who come through on the velodrome, and then it turns to like on the road, and the training in Tasmania specifically is incredible. The only thing it doesn't have is altitude. We're at sea level, but it's got everything you need. And then when you go through the ranks a little bit, there's a good group ride, or a good group of pretty much world tour riders, Richie Port, Will Clark, mm-hmm. Matt Goss, like the names go on. So once you get to that level, there's nothing but talent. So I don't know if it's in the water or what's going on down there, but it's pretty cool.
It's interesting you mentioned the velodrome aspect of it, because that's something that the U.S. in general is lacking in most areas. Now, you recently moved to the Atlanta metro area. I think they've got a velodrome in the Atlanta metro, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's Dick Lane.
It sounds right.
So, but I haven't been to that track. The one I specifically was racing on in America was in T-Town, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. Outdoor 333, which we don't have many specific outdoor 333s in Australia. We have a lot of wooden indoor 250s. So exactly like LA track.
Mm.
Wow. Okay. So as a pro cyclist, you raced track. Tell us a little bit about your pro cycling career. What disciplines did you do? What did you prefer? What did you kind of end with?
Well, I first came in 2006. I was 17, and my coach was Jamie Carney, and he was a pro trackie. So I came just the first couple of years for fun, and specifically did track racing on the velodrome and a few criteriums, and criteriums were super new to me because and then in 2008 I was with Kelly Benefit Strategies elite team, which was the feeder team to the pro team, which is now Rally Pro Cycling. So halfway through that year I turned pro with them, and I was pretty much focusing just on road races, tours, Tour Healer, Redlands, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And I was 19, and I was pretty much over my head to be honest. So I went back to amateur for 2 years and concentrated on crits and kind of learned how to win and learned how to, do the little things. And then turned pro with Smart Stop Pro Cycling in 2012 and again concentrated on tours and longer one-day races, Philly and so on. And then towards the end of my career in 2015-16, I switched it up and did crits. It's just more exciting, less training, more money. So the last few years were just specifically criteriums.
Nice. So I'm a triathlete, but if I have to pick something to do in bike racing, I love doing crits as well. So I hear what you're saying. They're more exciting, more fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. Oh my God. We were just talking before we started the show. I raced this weekend and I was like, hey, these kind of races, like you can win prizes on the laps. I mean, you get creams. I'm like,
Exactly.
I came home with a bottle of wine and a bunch of other stuff. And I was like, heck yeah, this is great.
Yeah. And the thing I really like about criteriums is it's the strongest person or the most, talented person pretty much doesn't win because it's so tactical and you got to have no fear, which in a road race, someone has the biggest VO2 max and you go up a hill and he just rides away from you.
Exactly.
So in criteriums, it's a very skillful, tactical, and that's what I like about it.
I know with crits, you had mentioned somewhere that the more difficult, the better. Obviously, the competition makes up part of that. The course makes up part of that. What would you consider, I guess, a difficult crit, and what made that specifically appealing to you?
Well, for me, training for road races, I was doing a lot of mileage. So if you're training for the races, you're generally a little bit fitter than if you're training specifically for crits. You got more depth in your legs. So for me, a race with either a short little hill or a really technical course, 6 to 9 corners, was better for me because you weed out all the dangerous people and you weed out all the people who aren't fit and the desperate people, and it gets less dangerous. And the smaller the field, the better for me. So I have a chance in a big sprint or a breakaway sprint. So if the field is from like 170 down to like 50 guys, that's perfect for me.
There you go.
So retiring now, it's always a different change in mindset. I know even just for your amateur athletes like ourselves, there's always that thought about, what do I do when I can't do what I'm doing right now? And I'm sure there's a period of adjustment to that. How has that change been? Has it been like you expected? Anything that's kind of surprised you? And what do you enjoy most about being retired? We can start with that.
Well, I'm actually sitting here having a nice cold beer right now.
There you go. All right.
Part of it. But I don't know, it's been kind of a weird transition for me because all I've ever known is cycling and that's who I am. And I thought that when I would retire for real, I would be just bitter or just miss it. But my transition year was 2017 with Crit Life. Estella's sponsorship kind of fell out and I was like, I'm not ready to go. Like, I'm not ready to retire. I need one more year. And we made the team with 3 other guys. And then that was just a really fun year. We kicked ass all year. And then it kind of organically just ended and it felt really good. I felt like that was the kind of the year I needed to transition out. And then in the meantime, I got one through the goalie and the old wife's pregnant.
Slipped one past, yeah.
So, yeah, you either have it or you don't, I say. So that was kind of like another cool thing in the sense of like, all right, I'm retiring this year. I have to find a career path, and then also we're having a baby. So it's kind of like I'm not sitting around wondering like, like what if? Because I'm so busy with the little one, and
I bet
it's just super fun, and I just love it.
So what have you been up to? Chris mentioned obviously you've become a licensed massage therapist, and some of us in the room know about your massage therapy skills. So what kind of took you down that path? What led you into massage?
It was kind of a combination of a few things, really. Like, I had a lot during my career, and I really felt the benefits of it, and I wanted to be able to help other athletes when I was done. And another thing was I left Australia so young, I didn't get my college degree. So I was like, what can I do that's creditable, makes good money, and I don't have to go to school for 4 years? And also, like I said in the first bit, like I just wanted to help people and I can relate to it. So I went to school. It was a 9-month program, graduated, and yeah, just been massaging ever since pretty much. So, and Tingle knows, like, you wouldn't know, sorry, Lana, but
I know you ran. Sorry,
Mr. Burl knows.
Mr. Burl knows.
I really enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I'm still mad at you for leaving, by the way.
Well,
I'm bitter.
I was going to ask, and I hope Shannon listens to this, but is Harper still in business now I'm gone?
Yeah, Harper is still in business, although we're all much grumpier now that we don't get massage.
Yeah, I bet.
So we've had another retired cyclist on the show before, Phil Guyman, who's noted as having the worst retirement ever. If you follow him on YouTube, basically all he does is run around and chase Strava KOMs. Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about
dishing out cookies?
Dishing out cookies?
Not really. I just like going out having fun now, and I got enough Stravas in Knoxville when I was training. Now I don't need to go out and get them now. Although sometimes it is tempting, you know. It's like, I know I can get that one, but nah.
Or just show up to like a local, like, you know, just completely nonchalant show up to a crit and just destroy everybody.
Well, I wish. It's funny, actually. I went on a group ride the other night, last Tuesday. There's a group ride every Tuesday night, and I went out and I looked on Strava the other day. I've done 500 kilometers this year, the whole year, 500. And I'm like, you know, when everyone's like, the pros in town, and I'm like, I'm unfit, guys, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, no, really, I am. So I suffered through this thing, just like faking it full gas for 2 hours. It's like, oh my God, I cannot get dropped. You know, I've just got to, you know. But these guys are so fast that I uploaded it the next day, and I was like, we weren't even close to any of the Stravas. And it's just like these guys who, that is their goal. They'll go out and they will be just smashing it. And it's just like, holy shit, you're strong.
It's so... Yeah, I definitely feel you there. It's like you get out.
It's a bit ridiculous.
It is a bit ridiculous.
You go on a group ride and you're like, really, guys, that's what we're doing today?
Because I mean, like,
it was so fun though.
Yeah, I mean, like last night, I went out and did the group ride with Cedar Bluff Cycles here, and it gets like that. There's that end sprint. You know, we all come down and we're just like hauling what, you know, for us is like full gas, playing like race mode, and just sprinting out to get to the blinking stop sign. And then we like get to the blinking stop sign and we're like, woo, we want to, there's nobody around. And
I'll just pedal it in and get a beer.
Yep, time to go home.
But the cool thing was that I only needed that one ride, and I did, I think, 2 like 40-minute rides. Like I just went out and went full gas, 40 minutes. And then I was back and I did it last night, and Tuesday night, and I felt great. I felt fantastic. So
nice.
That's cool. You know, you got
just
the,
like riding
the memory.
a bike. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in there.
So we'll go back to the massage therapy for a little bit. And of course, I know the benefits of massage therapy for sure. But for those out there who may not have had the experience of, you know, getting the massage, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what kind of benefits is somebody going to see? You know, how is that going to help a budding triathlete or even an experienced triathlete or cyclist recover better, be able to train harder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like it's for triathletes, and in Peachtree City where we're living now, it's like second behind Boulder per capita of like how popular it is. It's like massive here. So I see a lot of triathletes here, and the biggest benefit for triathletes is the fact that they do 3 disciplines. So they're working their muscles in all different ways, and running, they're really pounding their body, and it's so hard on the body. So for that, it's just like the circulation, the blood flow, just loosening up the body so it can function and just go in and day in and day out. And because I find a lot of people who don't have one for a long time, they'll come in and they'll be on the verge of being injured or just super tight, not flexible. So really, it's all about just kind of like maintaining your body so it doesn't break down. And, you know, the adhesions, we call them, generally everyone calls them knots, but it's just like the muscles are, you know, so tight that it could pull on your knee or whatever. But just loosening it up, getting the circulation around, flexibility, it's relaxing too. So it's all about recovery.
Sometimes it's relaxing.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the difference. You know, I've been getting massages for many years and many
Not
different,
from me.
but not from Clay. I'm coming down to Peachtree City. I think I'm just going to.
We need to have a road trip.
Yeah, I think so. We're just going to come down. But you know, I've had the spa relaxing massage, but I've also had the sports massage where working with somebody who understands an athlete's body and how it moves. So, you know, from your experience, Clay, obviously having been an athlete and especially at a high level, how do you must find that you're able to communicate better, especially with athletes, about what hurts and why and what you can actually do about it.
100%. Like, it sounds weird, but lately I've been doing like 5 or 6 a week, and every massage I give, it sounds weird, but I can relate to how it feels. So when I'm working on a muscle, I know exactly how it felt when I had it. And that's my whole philosophy on the way I massage is that I massage the way that I wanted to be massaged. So for me, it's not so much about, you know, deeper or harder is better. It's more about looking at it and being like, you know, what do we need to achieve here?
Right.
You know, not so much focusing on where the pain or the tightness is coming from, but like figuring out where it's coming from, and kind of just loosening up all the muscles, not skipping a muscle group, you know, just so my thing is, and I think my skill is the fact that, like you said, I know what muscles need to be worked and how to be worked, and that's what I kind of focus on.
Yeah, and the great thing too, and just a plug for you is, you know, I've been getting massage for years and years, and I've seen several different massage therapists over the years, and it takes that special kind of person to realize what kind of pressure you need and not go too hard.
Yeah, it's not about getting beat up.
Yeah.
I hate going to a massage and coming out and being pummeled.
Yeah.
You know, so sore that I can't do my workouts for the next 2 days. Yeah. And I would rather have one that's effective. It's like, I don't mind if somebody gets in there to the right spot.
Right.
So much, yeah, it releases, we're good, but we're not going to bruise me. Thank you very much.
Or I'm not going to, you know, be just so sore the next day that I can't go out and do the workout.
Yeah.
That's completely counterintuitive for...
Yeah, exactly. And I always ask them what they've done today and what they're doing tomorrow, because sometimes a muscle does need to be, you know, stripped out, but it has to be the right time. Like, I'm not going to strip out your quads if you're doing a really important hard session the next day, because you'll just be shit.
Yes.
Yes, well, very much so.
Well, and also don't do speed work and show up at your massage and be like, hey, you know, I need you to pound on my legs a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Clay, but I mean, your background in coaching also helps with that, because you can relate to the types of workouts. When an athlete tells you kind of what the workouts they've got that are coming up, you can say, okay, you know, I get that. I understand what that workout means. I understand what that athlete's going to go through or has been through, so that you can relate that into the massage as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like one of the reasons why I did it is I understand how important it is to you don't even have to be like a superstar, but anyone who wants to be an athlete, to help them get to their own peak performance, whether it's at the top or whether it's, you know, their age group or whatever, like that will help them get to their peak performance. And then, like you said, like on top of that, with my coaching as well, it's all based on my experience. So, you know, we've all had bad massages, we've all had good massages, we've all, you know, overtrained, we've all so all my
I've never
performance
overtrained.
kind of thing I have is based around experience.
Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit more about the coaching. So how long have you been coaching?
2 years.
Okay, excellent. And are you working primarily with cyclists, or do you work with triathletes or other disciplines?
Just cyclists at the moment. I don't want to kind of step on anyone's toes in triathlon, because I feel like I don't know enough to do that. Plus, if they were going to have 3 different coaches, it would be a little bit awkward, I reckon.
It works for maybe Olympians to kind of assemble a team of coaches. Like you know, Gwen Jorgensen, I know she did that when she was...
If you have a budget in the multiple thousands per month.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah,
exactly.
But it is...
I mean, I'll coach the triathlete if they want to throw big bucks at me. I'll figure it out.
Right.
So with the athletes that you're working with, you know, so what have you enjoyed the most about coaching?
I enjoy kind of like the process of figuring out what they need. So, everyone's different, and I tailor all my programs differently. I could be more hands-on, but I feel like a lot of cyclists are different in the sense of like some want you to be more hands-on and some want to just have a program online. So it's a bit of a mix, but I enjoy figuring out what they need and then seeing their results, whether it's a Strava or whether they've won a race or whether they've, up their FTP. That's all very rewarding.
Definitely, and part of the reward, like you mentioned, of that is seeing that improvement, but also kind of giving them space to do their own thing as well. And one of the things that every athlete, I think, can relate to is seeing something on a schedule and saying, that's absolutely insane. I'm not doing that.
My coach is trying to kill me. Those words have come across my lips, and I think I've had people say that to
Exactly.
me.
What's the best or funniest excuse you've ever heard an athlete use for just up and skipping a workout and doing their own thing?
That is a good one.
Oh,
they'll know who they are.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to be careful here. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking myself.
Right.
I've heard some pretty bananas things too here.
I don't even know, to be honest. Let's come back to that. I'll think.
There you go. Okay, well, we'll bookmark that one.
I'm thinking Lana's is going to be somewhere around, I can't do my mile repeats because I've got to go rehearse for my 80s hair metal cover band.
Oh, Clay, this one is out of control. I'm telling you, he's just nothing you can do with him. No, I get a lot of the too busy working. There's a lot of that. That's kind of occasionally there's been some weird things, but I got to admit, most athletes that I have, either they don't give an excuse or they just find a way to get it done.
Hey, I finished my ride on Saturday after my car got broken into.
Yeah,
I got a nice
Chris.
30-minute break talking to the cops, but other than that...
But wait, you're Tingle's coach, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And,
I remember now.
And actually Chris's coach,
Yes.
too.
I remember Derek on the table. He's like, "Don't tell Lana, but I didn't train today." I think he skipped a few workouts. I was like, "Oh, that's why your legs are feeling pretty good, mate."
Yeah, exactly.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how that works,
That's
isn't
okay.
it?
Training Peaks tells all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't
eventually.
now I'm thinking about it. I don't really have anything that comes to mind, but I do get a lot of like, I'll write them and be like, how was the workout? Because I know it's like fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't write back for like 2 days and they'll be like, oh no, I didn't do it. I just skipped it and I'll do it another day. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. or you sit down and you put together that perfect work. You're like, this is going to be perfect. This is exactly what they need. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to get their feedback on it. And then they hop on and ride a Strava course instead, and Zwift course instead, and you're just like,
I've
really?
never done that.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're not a
It's like-
Zwift junkie, but I have some Swift junkies, and I'm outing some of them probably right now.
I have to remember, like, everyone's different because when I was,
I'm pretty sure you're married to one, aren't you?
He's off Swift now.
What?
Yeah.
Did we take him through a 12-step program or?
I don't know. He just stopped one day. He went cold. I know.
Whoa, cold turkey?
Yeah.
Dude.
you gotta get on Zwift.
Anyway, come on. What you got there, Clay? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I remember when I was a junior training for here, like I was telling my coach to give me more, and I remember this was crazy, and I cannot believe I did it, but I did a 42-hour week.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm still tired.
That's insane.
And that's probably the last time you asked for more.
Yeah, like he'd have this rule of like, if you can do 75% of what I have on the program, then it's great. But I'd just be like, fuck it, I'm doing 100. I'm doing it all.
I'm doing it all. I want green.
And then some. Why not?
It was like, I think it was like 6, 7, 7, rest day, 6, 7, 8
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
hours.
Holy crap.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
solid.
But, that raises an interesting question. I guess, first off, are most of the athletes you're getting right now, are you their first coach, or are they coming to you after having been through a few and looking for something different?
A bit of a combo. Some of them, they've come to me, and some of them are brand new, which makes it interesting. Like I had one guy, and he was similar to what I was like growing up, and he just wanted more and more, and I had to calm him down. I was like, I've learnt the hard way, but less is more, and just follow what I have, because everything on that program is like based around, each day. So if you skip a day, it's not going to work because every day is specifically there.
There's reason behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, and that leads in very well to what I was getting at with that, because when you get a lot of those newer athletes that you're maybe their first coach, it's often the case, I think, where people that are kind of self-coaching are, like you say, pushing themselves a bit too hard, and trying to just push it a little bit harder every day, whether that makes sense to do or not. What other, I guess, habits do you see in maybe the newly coached cyclist that you have to kind of tweak a little bit to get them where they're actually following an effective program rather than just going, all out all the time?
Yeah, biggest thing is definitely resting on rest days, like properly resting. And when I say,
Amen.
Go out and do 45 minutes grandma pace, like I'm not kidding. Like go out there, because like I said before, every day is specifically based around another. So if I have 3 rest days there, that means that you should be pretty screwed by that stage. So you need that rest. So resting's a hard one for people to like properly understand how important it is. So I have to really like harp on them. But saying that, like everyone I coach are awesome. Like I really, really enjoy them all. I don't want anyone to think that I don't, but they are really awesome. And another one is the different end of the spectrum of not resting, but then also just focusing on power, like, and not being smart about, like I said, do the interval at X, but not the rest of the ride. The rest of the ride is like recovery, but the whole ride's X, and it's like it's bound to be overtrained. So a little bit of, riding too hard because I'm excited, and then obviously not resting enough. So
yeah, I would say I see a lot of that too. And how much do you see, especially with folks, between sort of the equipment and the motor? I've worked with some athletes where, working with them, training, and I do a lot that's basically remote, even though I've met most of my athletes. It's kind of a remote thing. So it's like you're watching and you're like, for me, it's a lot of times with triathletes, it's like, I'm not sure if they are shifting correctly. Like, I'm not sure if they're operating the bicycle correctly. Like, I don't think they know how to use all the gears and the brakes and how to turn and things like that. And then I'll have others who are like, hey, I got this great deal. I think I can get these wheels for, $1,000. Should I get them? It'll make me faster. And I'm like, well, you didn't do that last VO2 max workout the other day. So, do you get a lot of that too?
Not so much for mine, which is great because a lot of them already have really awesome equipment. The thing that I really try and like tell them is like, just trust me. Please just trust me. If I say do this, just do that, because, I want the best for you, and this is what's going to be the best for you. So if you do that, then I promise that you're going to, be very good. But on the end of the equipment stuff, like luckily for me right now, everyone's got really, really nice stuff, and they haven't brought that up yet. But I definitely heard that on the, people's different stories, like some guy who's, 65, 35 pounds overweight, but his bike's worth $12,000.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're like, mate.
Well, I like what you said though about the trust me. And as a coach, I find that if an athlete is willing to commit and follow the program, because kind of as a coach, you're also trying to, like you said, like that what gives you the thrill is figuring out what works for somebody. It's really, really, really hard to figure out what works for somebody if they're not going to do what you're trying to get them to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if
and
they
then
move
it's really
their workouts
frustrating
around
because
at will, and who does that really?
I was just gonna say that it's really frustrating when you give them such a sick plan, and then they'll skip a bunch of days, and then they'll turn up on race day and suck, and you're like, oh, and then try and blame it on you. And
they're like, I don't know what happened. I didn't sleep well, and I'm like, no, you didn't train. Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten that one yet.
No, you're fine. Derek is, so with one of the things I do with my guys, especially with triathlon, because we have the 3 sports, there's a little bit of flexibility that I can sort of build into things. And yeah, I always tell them, look, each week is planned out to give you the best result. It's the best plan so that you're not doing back-to-back speed work on the run and a threshold workout on the swim and then, some max intervals on the bike. Instead, I've got it spaced out and you might recover in another sport. But I also tell them where I can, hey, you have some flexibility to move things around. A lot of them are working professionals. But sometimes they'll get a little out of control with that and we have to rein it in. But most of them are pretty good.
That is the cool thing about like working professionals is like, for me, I was always full-time bike, so that was my priority. First thing I did, everything I thought about and did and slept and ate was all about training and racing. But if you're working 8 hours a day, that's very impressive to me. Because the last thing I want to do if I work 8 hours a day is get on a bike and do 2 hours at like sweet spot.
That's the truth.
I'd be like, I'm going to crack a brew and lay on the couch with my wife and watch The Bachelor.
That would drive me to go bike in any weather.
No, right now I was just watching a lot of tour. It's like, can I watch all 6 hours today?
Speaking of the tour, okay, I haven't watched today's stage yet, but I kind of really didn't give a shit about today's stage. But yesterday's stage,
He's tired.
like seriously, yesterday's stage. You guys all watched this, right? I know Chris didn't.
Okay, so yesterday's stage would have been what?
That was 17. That was the 62 or 65K stage where they did the stupid grid start that they touted was going to be like
immediate climb, and then they went into the horse category to finish.
Yeah, I mean they went over the 3 big dumb climbs right in a row, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to be awesome because we're doing the grid start, and they're going to send people off, and the contenders are going to be all together, and it's going to be like it's going to be awesome." And then they line everybody up, and they're making a huge deal about it on the coverage, and then that flag goes down, and they just kind of roll off. And like the first corner in, like 3 minutes in, and the Skybots are already up front, and it's just a fucking parade up the damn mountain like it is on every fucking mountain stage.
I'm ready to stop watching the tour.
It's been a rough one.
We need to salary cap the shit out of these teams.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, Sky is the Yankees, and I'm like, until you have salary caps on the teams, you're just going to have baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Sky. Any one of those dudes could be the leader on any other team out there.
God,
I just wish Richie didn't crash and.
Oh, fucking really?
He would have been out there.
Yeah,
I know.
That would have been yeah.
And I wish TJ didn't suck. Like he just
always
finds a new way to suck.
Don't worry about TJ.
I want him to do so well.
I know he's American, but
still, we gotta have some hope, man.
All the sprinters left last week.
All the sprinters can't climb up mountains,
and then poor Peter went down yesterday.
Yeah, doing from the super tuck.
Peter's saving cycling though.
He really is. He's so good.
When he was first started, I remember we first watched him, I was like, man, he's kind of a punk. Like, does everybody want to kick his ass? And then I was like, this guy's fun. And now I'm like, can't get enough of him.
When he's doing wheelies and showing up, when he gets the green jersey and he dyes all his hair green and his goatee green. I mean, it's like, really? This dude...
I want him to turn into the Dennis Rodman. Cycling. How awesome would that be? Or someone, because the rest are just boring as shit.
I mean, and this year we got Julian Alaphilippe, who actually...
He's got some personality.
He's got some personality. Yeah, when he grabbed the Devil's pitchfork, did you see that?
Yes.
So good. But, oh man, yeah, I'm done with this tour.
Honestly, we need to see some more women cycling, because those
girls are killing it.
Yeah, they smash it.
I'm getting started.
Yeah, I know, right. Sorry, I just had to go on a rant about that.
All right, save us, Chris. Save us, Chris. He's got a question in the queue here.
Rabbit hole.
He's got one here. He's got one.
Yeah, exactly.
Better be good.
When you're not watching Tour or The Bachelor and riding your bike, since you've done all of 500K this year, and I've done that in like the last 2 weeks, and I don't even bike. What do you do for fun these days?
Put my baby down for a nap.
Yeah, new parent.
That sounds fun, because then I can go and do nothing again.
Isn't that nice?
You can crack a beer and watch The Bachelor.
She's 7 months tomorrow.
Oh.
And, she's adorable. She's just the best thing. So just being with her, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It honestly, it's great timing for you to not going crazy with cycling and retiring from that at the right time to really enjoy her, because as every parent says, those moments just fly by.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gone.
Me and my wife were talking the other night, like, she's already 7 months tomorrow, and it's like, wow, I can remember when she was born. But another thing, that the reason I have only done so many Ks is, like, honestly, I haven't told many people this, but I'm scared to get hit by a car. Like,
yeah, that's a good
happens to
excuse.
too many people, and I'm like, I got really lucky in my career and did hundreds and thousands of kilometers and never once had an incident. So I'm like, okay, I got through that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And yeah,
need to
and where
push
you live now, I mean, that's a pretty crazy. Like you said, there's a lot of athletes out on the roads, and there's definitely a lot of cars there.
That's just a
Yeah,
really
but
good
the
excuse
coolest
to
part
start
about
mountain
Peachtree
biking,
City is
man.
you can get around the whole city on golf cart.
Yes, I've
And a
been to
golf
Peachtree
cart
City
came with the
before.
house.
So do you have a golf cart?
Yeah, it came with the house.
Oh no shit! That is
How
the
awesome
bomb.
is that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
It
see,
came with it. It was beauty.
that's what I said. Though, Clay, that's your perfect excuse, man. You got to start getting into the mountain biking. Come play in
Well,
the dirt. You don't have to worry
have.
about getting hit by cars.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta worry about running
there's
into
actually
trees,
trails
but-
right behind the house, so I have. It's just so hot here. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you got to wait till about October.
Wait, aren't you from Tasmania? Like, wasn't it hot there?
Mate.
Did you
that's
move to the US and-
That's a stereotype how hot Australia.
Yeah, so tell us,
on, mate.
what is the
When-
weather like in Tasmania?
Tasmania
Educate
is
us.
perfect, actually. It's like 40s in the winter and 75 in the summer.
Wow.
I'm moving.
Sorry, so it must, and I forgive my geography ignorance. I'm an American. Is Tasmania? It must be near water then to be like that.
Yeah, we're sea level.
Yeah.
So we're sea level, and then the highest mountain on the island's about 1,500 meters.
All right.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only continental high point you can get to by driving a car and taking a short, walk up a sidewalk.
Exactly.
Definitely not one of the 7 summits.
All right,
Bern.
Clay, I got it. All right, so there's a question we have here.
Yes.
All right, this is something that Chris kind of came on, and he brought this up. So, training on the road, you just mentioned you don't want to get hit by a car, but, obviously there's other ways that you can make yourself a little more vulnerable, particularly would be training with headphones on. So, what's your opinion on training wearing headphones, specifically riding a bicycle on the road?
I feel like you'd lead me somewhere here. But, well, my philosophy's definitely changed. I spent probably 10 years with both of them in, just full gas blazing. But the last couple of years have changed, and I don't wear them anymore.
Yeah, I've compromised. I used to do one, then I did none, and I've gone back to one lately, just because sometimes it helps a little bit, to have that there. I've also gotten big into downloading routes onto my phone so I can go not ride the same stupid stuff over and over and over again and get those nice turn-by-turn directions. But yeah,
Come on, mate. What is this? Mapmyride.com?
I know, right? No,
Go out there and ride.
I know, yeah, right? I used to enjoy getting lost, too, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's
Well, Clay, if you haven't seen this, triathletes tend to be a little, what's the word?
there's a lot of words, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of words.
Anal,
we could-
anal retentive comes to mind, but
Yeah.
we are very, very structured. Yeah, it's like,
Well, but yeah, I used to wear them all the time, but now I just don't bother. I'm like, not worth it. But my philosophy was back then, I would ride as far left, well, in Australia, as far left as I could on the road.
Right.
And it wasn't, like if I was going to get hit, it wasn't my fault. That was my philosophy. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't move. But then I kind of changed my opinion. I was like, yeah, I was young and dumb.
That's kind of like, I guess, I don't know, opposite of the way that I kind of ride around here, at least. Like, I feel like if I'm riding as far over as I can ride, I'm just inviting someone to try to pass me when they shouldn't.
shoot the gap.
Yeah, try to
it depends
shoot,
on
yeah.
the road. For
Yeah,
me,
but a
if I've got an exit, I'll stay as far as I can.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, out here, like with the shoulders are covered with all that shit, I'm like, I don't want to fix flats
Yeah,
all day long.
it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm not going to ride over in that garbage. But if
Yeah, I'd
I'm
rather
cross-
get hit than fix a few flats.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, bump me.
But I figure if I'm riding down the middle of the fucking lane with blinking lights and
Yeah.
bright fucking yellow shit all over me, I mean, yeah, they're going to piss people off and they're going to...
Treat me like a tractor, though.
I'll
Slow
give
down
you a
and
bit
go
of a love
around.
tap with the front Camry bumper.
Oh,
What?
I was like, get the fuck out of the way, Derek. I'm trying to get through that.
you know? Like,
I will ride center on big descents, and if I'm at the speed limit, I'm riding the center lane. And
Yeah.
then if I'm going over a bridge, I am definitely taking.
Here's
the
my
whole
other
lane.
thought too: is like I've followed plenty of like fucking old people that are
Old
going.
people are the worst.
But I mean, they're going
they're worse than hillbillies.
They're going 20 miles an hour anyway. I'm riding faster than a lot of old people drive, and you don't get that pissed off at old
Yeah,
people.
but they come. No. Okay.
But I mean, old people will hit you because they
right
can't
down
fucking
in,
see.
Yeah, go down in Telco, man. They do not want to give up their lane.
No, hell no.
That is their lane.
By
not
God,
mine.
they pay good money for that
Yes,
shit.
Exactly.
The thing I've kind of resorted to is that it doesn't matter what you really do. You can't reason with mankind nowadays.
No.
I mean, Trump's president.
Good point. Good point. Actually, I always bring it down to physics. You know, me and my bike together, we weigh less than 5% of a car. So I'm going to lose that battle every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I hear you, though. It's definitely riding on the road is full of risks. And as we all say, it's not if you're going to get hit or if something's going to happen. It's when.
Yeah,
When.
Exactly, and just hope it's not a bad one. But I mean, yeah, if someone's willing to put your life at risk and get close to you, then that's not someone I want to reason with anyway. Because it's like a normal person, you know, would not even do that.
Right. True story.
Right.
My favorite is having conversations with the old
about to say,
fuckers with
Derek-
the convertible
Derek-
top down.
And,
It buzzed me on
engages
the
in
road the other day.
conversations
You know
with
what?
them.
Though I have found more, you catch more with honey. So I always smile
Actually,
and wave.
I run out of honey.
I smile and wave.
This week, actually, I was telling my wife this the other night. I did 2 40-minute rides. Yeah, long. But this was a first for me. I kind of like, you know, as we all do, rolled a stop sign,
Of course, yeah.
clear. And this person came up to me and goes, did you roll that stop sign? I said, are you a cop? He goes, no. And I said, well, fuck off then. Man, I felt good. I've used that line for years.
Just had that one in the bank
Just
waiting
waiting.
for
Oh,
it.
mate. Oh.
Just waiting. That does raise an interesting question. One that we asked Johnny Brown when he was on the show a couple of weeks back. You know, you've logged so many tens of thousands of kilometers out there. What is the strangest thing you've ever seen while riding your bike?
Oh, shit, you put me on the spot. One year in Tasmania, we had like a really big floods, and I went on a few rides out in the mountains, and I reckon I came across about 15 tiger snakes on the road.
Ooh.
Well, that's a reason not to move there,
Whoa.
Derek.
I know.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was I was coming down a twisted descent, and it was massive. And these things are like 6 foot long,
Yeah.
and I had to bunny hop one. So that's like the weirdest shit.
Holy shit.
I'm sure there's more weirder things, but I can't think.
So
Snakes on the road is pretty good.
that brings up
Well,
a
6-foot snakes on the road.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You
Not
see
little
those little
snakes.
dead little one
I don't know.
footers all
I don't
the
know. I was
time.
riding. It was me and my college roommate at the time. We were riding mountain bikes, and all of a sudden we're riding along, and I see him literally like jump up and like Starman off his bike. The bike goes like careening down the trail, and he just lands right there. And I, of course, almost run him the fuck over. And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And a snake had fallen out of a tree on his top tube with
Yeah,
the
no
business
good.
end
That's not
pointed
good.
at his junk.
Yeah, see you later.
I was
Bye-bye.
like, no, good call.
And you're telling me that it's safer to ride in the woods.
Actually, another thing
Yeah, well.
that's really weird in Australia is that during a specific time of the year in mating season, we have birds called magpies,
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
and they will swoop you
They get aggressive.
non-stop.
Yeah.
And they will just come down, fly down, and just boom, peck you on the helmet, and it's scary.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
small. Yeah, they're... Damn. So Clay, have you been back to Australia recently?
I haven't been back for about a year and a half, but we
Okay.
plan on going back in February.
Awesome. So
Good time to go.
take probably to take your daughter to see everyone.
Yeah, go and show her off.
Yeah.
We were going to go this year, but just didn't work out. But we had a lot of friends, and my mum came over for her birth, so she's already been loved upon.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you'll go over, you'll hand her off, and you'll see her just about the time you're ready to get back on the plane.
Oh yeah, that's the point. I'll hand her off on the plane to strangers.
Right.
Like, do you want to see
flight.
my baby? Like, no, you do.
Can you hold this?
Yeah, this is a long flight. Do you mind putting it on your lap for like 15 hours?
Well, there's a lot of people to circulate her amongst the Trans-Pacific flight. You know, everyone
Yeah.
gets 2 or 3 minutes. That cover you for the whole time.
Yeah, build up her immune system. I'm not worried.
Right.
There you go. No better immunity practice than just sitting on a closed-up tin can with, 400 of your
Closest
friends.
closest
Yeah,
friends.
everyone coughing on you.
Yeah.
That works. Ugh.
Remind me. Yeah,
Hate
I know I'm going
airplanes.
to have to fly next week, and you're making me real excited about
know,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Just-
yeah.
My wife's flying home tomorrow,
This is
so
right. Yeah. She just got to stay healthy.
But the one actually that reminds me, one cool thing about retiring is my OCD about getting sick has just plummeted.
That is nice,
that's a good
isn't it?
point. Yeah.
So good. Like, I mean, my wife's sitting here with me and she'll disagree, but would you see wash my hands like 57 times a day and, be angry if she coughed on me or looked at me.
Okay, so that's kind of funny because you're OCD about getting sick, but now you like touch people for a living.
I know. It's weird, isn't it?
That seems a little. Yeah. How do you get over that? It's like
Well, I wore gloves on you.
That's true.
Nah, I don't know. I just don't think about it anymore.
Oh man! Now you have a little one, so as soon as she starts going to she goes to a daycare or school, yeah, they can.
I know, like if her pacifier falls out on the floor, I just look at it and just grit my teeth and say, "You'll be right."
Yeah,
Put it back in.
exactly. Yeah.
Where if that was me, I'd be like sterilizing that thing.
Yeah, you got to keep your pacifiers put up, man. You can't drop that shit on the floor.
Exactly. It's brutal, mate.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, Clay. Thanks so much for joining us on the show, and best of luck in the coaching. Now, the website is claymurfetperformance.com, correct?
Yeah, mate, that's it.
Excellent. We will plug that up in the show notes and send some folks your way, hopefully. And but it's been a lot of fun talking to you. Best of luck in your retirement. It does not sound like the worst retirement ever, actually. It sounds pretty nice. So
Nah, mate, Phil needs to get on my level.
I know, right? Yeah, he's got it all wrong.
You got this figured out.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Clay. You have a good one.
All right, see ya.
Take
You
care.
too. See you guys.
Lost in Transition sponsor LB Endurance has partnered with Xterra Wetsuits to offer you exclusive savings on their best gear. Use discount code CO-LB Endurance for 55% off the best-selling Vortex full wetsuit shipping now in time for whatever your summer has in store. Code CO-LB Endurance will also unlock serious discounts, including Velocity Smoke Swim Goggles just $12, regularly $29, Lava Pants, the secret weapon for a faster swim, just $99, regularly $250, and a 10-foot Cloud White sub package for just $479, marked down from $1,200. Check out the link in our show notes to visit Xterra and lock in these amazing savings today. LB Endurance is a proud sponsor of the Lost in Transition podcast. Triathlon, swimming, cycling, or running, head coach Lana Burrell will use her racing experience, coaching acumen, and education to craft a training experience that will challenge and inspire you. Check out lbendurance.com today to learn more about one-on-one coaching, clinics, classes, training camps, and consultations so you too can become a legit endurance badass. Coming up next week on the Lost in Transition podcast, we take a detour off of the road and away from cycling into running and beer with the Knox Beer Runner. He is coming up next week talking about his ultra racing experiences. Join us for that. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode of the Lost in Transition podcast. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the TuneIn Radio app, YouTube, or you can stream us on Facebook or via the website losttransition.com. Let us know who you'd like to hear from in upcoming shows, and we will try to get them lined up for you. And be sure to follow us on social media for all the latest updates. I'm Chris Gerard, and we'll talk to you again soon on the Lost in Transition podcast.